I am Gaurav Jalan from second year Electronics and Telecommunication Department of DKT's Textile and Engineering Institute, and today I am here to discuss the concept about oscillator. So without wasting any further time, let's begin with it. So as you are visible on the board, I have written the definition, point to be noted, and the application of the oscillator. So let's first of all see the definition of oscillator, what it means. So now, an oscillator is an electric circuit which generates repetitive waveform of fixed amplitude and desired frequency. Let me repeat it once again. An oscillator is an electrical circuit or electric circuit which generates a repetitive waveform of fixed amplitude and desired frequency. So now we are going to see the note from which our definition is going to be cleared. Now in note I have written DC power, AC power and oscillator. So I will elaborate it. Now when we give DC power to an oscillator, then further oscillator converts it into AC power. Now as the graph of DC power is this, that is voltage with respect to time. Okay, so when we give this waveform to oscillator, then it will convert it to AC waveform which look like this, voltage with respect to time. Okay, so we have mentioned in the definition of fixed amplitude and desired frequency. So as you can see the curve on the graph, it means that the amplitude, that is A, amplitude of the graph remains constant or fixed, and this graph is valid for a particular frequency of a particular object. And if we change the frequency, then the amplitude also changes. Okay, so basically I hope you have got this, that DC power supply when applied to a oscillator, then it will convert it into AC power. Okay, so let's move further. Now applications of oscillator. We use many electrical appliances in our day-to-day life. So two of the very basic applications we use in our day-to-day life is television and radio, which are the most basic applications of oscillator. So as we have seen basic concept of oscillator in the previous slide, now we are going to see the classification of oscillator. So this is a tree diagram that describes the basic classification of oscillator. So let me elaborate it. As you can see, the basic two types of oscillator are sinusoidal, that is harmonic oscillator, and non-sinusoidal, that is relaxable oscillator. Further, sinusoidal oscillators are classified into three types: crystal oscillator, low frequency oscillator, and high frequency oscillator. Here low frequency oscillator are also known as RC oscillator because we use resistors and capacitors in this type of oscillator, while high frequency oscillators are also known as LC oscillator, where L denotes inductor and C denotes capacitor, which are used in this oscillator circuit because we have to generate high frequency. And this crystal oscillator, it is basically used to generate very high frequency. And this frequency generated in the crystal oscillator is much more than the frequency generated in LC oscillator and RC oscillator. Now RC frequency oscillators are subdivided in two types, that is phase shift oscillator and Wien bridge oscillator. So and high frequency oscillator, that is also known as LC oscillators, which are divided in four subtypes: Hartley oscillator, Colpitts oscillator, Clap oscillator, and Altidan oscillator. But in our syllabus we have to study only Hartley and Colpitts oscillator. But now we are just going to see the point Hartley oscillator, its whole circuit diagram along with its equation of frequency. Now, as I have written here sinusoidal, that sinusoidal oscillator, it means that an oscillator that can generate the sine wave. And basically by sine wave, I guess all of you know what sine wave is. This is the sine wave with a desired frequency and fixed amplitude, while non-sinusoidal means which can generate a square or triangular waveforms. Example, So as we were seeing, non-sinusoidal oscillator that generates square and triangular waveforms. So this is the square waveform and this is the triangular waveform. I hope the whole classification of this oscillator is clear to you, and now we are going to move further. So you are visible with the table on the board, and this table is generally used to depict the frequency range of a particular oscillator, and it is of which class. So there are three class of oscillator in which it is described. We can say first class is audio frequency, whose frequency range is from 20 Hz to 20 kHz. We basically called it as an audible frequency range, that is audible to human ears. Okay, so it is a type of LC oscillator which can generate 20 Hz to 20 kHz frequency. Now the second type is radio frequency, which is also known as non-audible frequency range, and its frequency range is from 20 kHz to 30 MHz, which is provided by RC oscillators. एक मिनट. So this is the third point, that is very high frequency, and it generates up to 30 MHz to 300 MHz of frequency range, and its type is crystal oscillators. As we have discussed above, from the previous slides, you can see that the crystal oscillator is one of the oscillators that is used to generate a huge amount of frequency as compared to RC oscillators and LC oscillators. So now we are going to proceed towards our main point, that is Hartley oscillator, and we are going to see its whole concept, its frequency derivation, and what are the terms and conditions related in the Hartley oscillator. So here, as you can see, we have the basic circuit diagram of Hartley oscillator, which is also known as LC oscillator. So this is the whole basic diagram. Now let's elaborate it. This part, the dotted part in the circuit diagram is basically known as common emitter single phase RC coupled amplifier. So this part, the dotted part, is known as the common emitter single phase RC coupled amplifier, and for basic design or analysis of any amplifier we use common emitter amplifier, because by use of common emitter amplifier we get the high voltage gain and also high current gain. Now this part which you are visible with, which is consisting of L and C, where C is known as capacitor, L1 and L2 are the two split inductors of a single inductor L. L1 and L2 are connected in series with each other, and this whole circuit is known as tank circuit. Also it can be known as LC tank circuit, because it basically contains inductor and capacitor in it. Now this is the whole diagram. Now we should but after some time, as the voltage goes on decreasing and time goes on increasing, we get some of the changes in the graph, and due to this the graph goes under the condition of underdamped oscillations. So to get this underdamped oscillations graph again in the type of sustained oscillations, we need to apply some of the extra voltage. So as we know that we have used RC coupled single stage amplifier in our Hartley oscillator circuit. So the job of single stage RC coupled amplifier is to provide extra voltage to this LC tank circuit, which will result in formation of this sine wave or this sustained oscillations, which is in this form, and these underdamped oscillations will be further converted into this sustained oscillations. So after the analysis of the basic diagram for Hartley oscillator, we are going to start the equation of frequency for the Hartley oscillator. So basically, as we have used here tank circuit, and in tank circuit we have two components, L and C, that is L represents inductor and C represents capacitor. So in tank circuit the capacitor contains electrostatic energy and inductor contains electromagnetic energy. So in tank circuit, both this capacitor and inductor try to exchange their energy, and they try to match the impedance. So we can write the equation as Z, which is known as total impedance, that is equal to J omega L1 plus J omega L2 plus 1 upon so we can write this equation as 1 upon J omega C. So this is the equation for the total impedance, that is Z, of the Hartley oscillator. Now we are going to derive the equation of frequency from this equation of total impedance. Now let me keep the term of J omega and L1 plus L2. As J omega is common, I have taken it common and in bracket L1 plus L2. Now as I want 1 upon omega C, so I will multiply by J omega on the numerator and denominator side of this 1 upon J omega C. So the equation will look like this. Now from this term also we can take the J omega common. So the whole equation becomes J omega L1 plus L2 plus omega upon 1 upon J square omega square C. This can be further written as J omega L1 plus L2 minus 1 upon omega square C. We have used here minus because as J is an imaginary term, so its square will be negative. That is J square is equal to minus 1. So as from previous slide, we have come to the conclusion of this equation that total impedance Z is equal to J omega whole multiplied by L1 plus L2 minus 1 upon omega square C. As J square is imaginary term and its value is minus 1, so the sign here becomes negative. Now at resonance, we all know that impedance becomes 0. So by putting Z is equal to 0 in equation 1, we get that L1 plus L2 minus 1 upon omega square C. Now by using mathematical calculations, we get the final term as 1 upon omega square C is equal to L1 plus L2. As both the inductors L1 and L2 are connected in series, we can write L equivalent, that is Leq in place of L1 plus L2. So from the further part of this equation, we can get that omega square is equal to 1 upon L equivalent into C. We all know that omega is equal to 2 pi f. So by using the value of omega in this equation, we get that is f is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root C dot L equivalent. So this is the final equation of our Hartley oscillator, and let us use the remark as equation number 2. So just now we have seen the equation of the frequency for the Hartley oscillator, that is f is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root C dot L equivalent, where L equivalent is the series combination of two inductors, that is L1 and L2, and we have remarked it as equation number 2. So now we are going to move towards our final point for the Hartley oscillator, and it is known as Bar-Cousins criteria. Generally Bar-Cousins criteria has two conditions in it. For the first condition is overall phase shift of the loop must be 360 degree. This first condition we have verified. So let me recall you the LC tank circuit which we are using in our Hartley oscillator circuit diagram. It produces 180 degree phase shift, and this amplifier, it also produces 180 degree phase shift. So the total phase shift of the total loop becomes 360 degree. So the first condition is verified. Now we are going to move towards the verification of second condition. Here you can see that A dot beta should be greater than or equal to 1. So where A is the gain of amplifier and beta is the gain of feedback circuit. So by referring this diagram, we are going to take the further calculation of this second equation. So from figure we can write it down, beta, as beta is a gain, so it is termed as output ratio input, that is output quantity ratio input quantity. And as we are using the voltage gain, so we would write it as output voltage to input voltage. Okay, so from figure here, as Vf is acting output voltage for feedback circuit and Vo act as an input voltage for feedback circuit, my equation becomes like this, that is beta is equal to Vf upon Vo. And in feedback circuit, as we know that L2 act as a feedback, this ratio Vf ratio Vo, it can be written as L2 ratio L1. And by referring the circuit diagram of Hartley oscillator, you can see that L2 act as L2 act as an output and L1 act as an input inductor. So by using this we could write this. Now putting this beta is equal to L2 upon L1 in this equation. Therefore we get, that is A is greater than or equal to 1 upon beta. Therefore A should be greater than or equal to L1 ratio L2. A simple mathematical logic, we get the equation. So from this equation we can conclude that for satisfying the Bark-Hasson's criteria, that is satisfying both the conditions, we need that L1 ratio L2 should be 1 or greater than 1. As we know that for satisfying the Bark-Hasson's criteria, A dot beta should be greater than or equal to 1. So the ratio of L1 and L2 must be greater than 1. And after getting this, we could say that the Bark-Hasson's criteria for the Hartley oscillator is fully verified. Okay, so this was the whole concept for the oscillator, and Hartley oscillator that we have discussed later on. So I hope that you have got all this concept clearly, and thank you for listening me. So I hope that the whole concept of this oscillator has been clear to you, and thanks for listening to me. Have a great day.